Okay, hello everybody. I'm Louis, the CEO and co-founder of Apidaze. So let's make it light. It's been a bit long. So I was supposed to present with Igor from Lightspark some of the hacks or applications that were done between telecom APIs and Slack. So we'll make it light. So the goal of Ottspott. First of all, I talk a little bit about Apidaze. So we started by building a communications API 3 years ago, and there was a lot of competition. It was a very crowded market space, so we decided to keep all of this. So we have all of our customers using the Cloud Communications API, and we decided to make a service that we called Ottspott because we were using Slack, and we thought that something was missing there. And we started building it for ourselves. So it started just being a lightweight phone business system, and then it evolved a little bit. And after 1 year, we came out of public beta. So we enrolled approximately 10,000 users. And then now some of these users are going to pay for the application month to month. Does everybody know Slack here in the room? Yeah? Okay, so what I found funny is that it stands for searchable log of all conversation and knowledge, which I think is the soul of the product, and that's also the approach we had with voice, is to make voice more searchable and more collaborative. So as you all know, Slack is very successful. I don't know, probably they've beaten this number. It started like already here very low, 150,000, are over like 3 million users. And it's a very, it's always interesting to know why they're successful, probably because of their timing. This is something from PricewaterhouseCoopers, and they say that the future of work and the future of the companies is in 3 parts: the orange, the green, and the blue. And Slack will stand typically in the orange and the green world, where small is beautiful, or the companies that care about the world. So I took here just 2 examples of their customers that they mentioned on their site. It can be very large, like here it's 6 locations, 1,200 users, with 44 integrations made. Okay, but you won't see a lot of like blue world in the Slack environment. So just to tell you that the users of Ottspott are in the green world. Our first subscriber is a British GNO. It's, you know, these foundations for NGO. Okay, NGO, and most of them are in the orange world. It's more fully digital companies or startups or large startups. So people use Slack because Slack is useful. It increases productivity, it reduces mails, and you have fewer meetings, is a fact. Personally, I don't like a lot meetings, so I'm very happy to have Slack. It's free, or it can be free for a long time, up to 10,000 messages. Okay, you cannot search the knowledge if you have more than 10,000 messages unless you unblock and you pay. And also very interesting concept, I think, is that they only build for active users. So if you have like 50 people in your Slack team, but only like 15 active members, you will only pay for these 15 active members from 1 month to another, which is also an interesting and honest approach. And the most interesting is that Slack, so we've been talking about ecosystems, about app stores, and that's something we listen here a lot. Slack has approximately 700 apps in its directory, and a lot of other applications outside their directory. For instance, Ottspott, we were really integrating with Slack from the beginning, but we only listed on the directory like 6 or 7 months after, when we thought that we had enough features and added value. So you would say, why would they use Ottspott? Because they have Slack calls since March of this year. Well, it's true. It's one-to-one calls in the free Slack version, and video calls in the paid plan, and group calls in the paid plan, but it's only for teamwork. So if I compare it with a regular phone, it's like an intercom. You could speak inside but not outside the company. And there are a lot of communication add-ons, Appear, Skype, Zoom, Hangouts. So it's the philosophy of Slack. And there are also alternatives to Slack. Cisco, okay, the Facebook Workplace, which finally came out, which is more, I think, in the blue world, although they try to go more into the orange world of Slack. Interesting, very aggressive pricing. Personally, I wouldn't use it, but okay, why not? And then you have Microsoft Teams, which was announced 2 weeks ago and is due for mid-January. So I can tell you that. So we were approached by Microsoft to be part of the launch. So we are currently integrating what we did on Ottspott for Microsoft Teams. So yes, why did we build Ottspott? Because there was no Slack or Slack app or integration which handled external phone calls. And okay, we're in a startup configuration at Apidaze, so we wanted to handle support calls without getting into buying a whole system. And also we wanted to work remotely and have something intelligent. So as I told you, we've had a great exposure. With 9,000 beta users after 6 months. And we basically integrated our API with the Slack API. And now what we do, we offer cloud numbers in 40 countries. For the moment, we offer only Slack authentication, and we're listed in the directory. And also the other important aspect is that we integrate data from other business apps. What I want to share here is that the usage of phone today, if you take millennials or people who are 20 to 30, 35, they would never go to a telco and say, okay, I need to buy a whole equipment and a network and desk phones, okay? What they want is to use in the context of their business applications, and they use a lot of business applications, is to use the phone just as a channel. It could be the chat, it could be the phone, it could be like the Skype or Appear or whatever. What I want is something there. And to handle calls, SMSs coming from regular smartphones or phones, they need numbers. So we offer that number. But what I want at the end of the day is not, oh, I have an office, I need a lot of desk phones or I need to equip people. It's more to use in the context of applications. So you can use Ottspott in 3 ways. We have a web app, we have a Chrome app, and of course you can get all the notification stuff on the Slack mobile desktop or web app. We're a SaaS business model, very low cost. Our idea here was to say, if you add the cost of Ottspott and if you are in a paid plan with Slack, you will still be under the price of a regular, let's say, cloud-based telephony solution, because otherwise people would say, okay, I have already the Slack cost. If I take yours, at the end of the day, it's better to take I don't know, a Ring Central or something like that. At the end of the day, it's still cheaper to use Ottspott. Another point, which joins a little bit what we have been doing with Ottspott, is that there will be a lot of build versus buy by 2020. And by build, they define it as not out-of-the-box solutions, but a combination of application components that are differentiated. We started by providing developer tools with Apidaze, and we ended up taking our own tool and integrating it with the Slack API to build Ottspott. What we are doing also now is to revert the thing and say, okay, now we can build, again, some parts and rebuild an API around Ottspott and give the opportunity to our users to build around Ottspott their fully customized solution. So the business opportunities are multiple for partners in services, in trunking, and white labeling. Okay, so each time I made a demo, there was a problem with the network. So this year I decided to cheat a little bit. Oops. Okay, so here on the Ottspott side, you have all the features. Very interesting feature is the chatbot. where you can manage contacts, blacklists, and also integrations. So I won't go through a full demo. You have here, it's the back office of Ottspott. Here you can manage everything related to call routing. You can manage your office hours, for instance. Your voicemail, you can get your voicemails transcribed into a Slack channel. You have hold queues. You have, a lot of things, and you have also webhooks. Interesting part also is integrations. You can integrate with softwares. We have a list of 3 new softwares coming next week. Okay, so this is the way you get a number. So for you in the telecom, it's not maybe magic, but for a lot of people say okay, let's open an office tomorrow, I need a phone number. So they just pick the country, the city, and they will get instantly a phone number. So you can set up Ottspott quicker than the Camilio snap. In less than 30 seconds, you can get a phone number and all your phone system up. Yeah, but we thank you, Daniel, because we love Camilio and we're using Camilio in our backbone. Okay, another example. So here is like a Slack page. So when a call comes in, I get a notification. I can answer through a button and then a link. But I can also answer here with my magic Chrome app, which is a little Slack phone, where I have the call feed of all the calls. So when a call comes in, I can answer, but then also I can collaborate on the call and send notes that will go into the appropriate Slack channels. I won't have time to show all the features and everybody's tired, but here, another one interesting is the bot will help you integrate your data and synchronize your data, for instance, with your CRM. In this case, it's a Pipedrive. So it will lead you through the process. You don't need it's not very complicated. Here's the beginning. I type .integrations in the Slack channel. So I start talking with the Ottspott bot. You will say, okay, what do you want to integrate? It could be Pipedrive or another. Okay. Then it will say, okay, go and you can fetch the token. You paste the token, and then it will synchronize the contacts. What is the interest? The interest is that all the data in my CRM, when a call comes in, and if it carries a phone number, I will recognize immediately who is calling. And we are syncing all the data from different business apps. That's what people really want, because what people are doing in really very digital companies, they're using a lot tools like Pipedrive a lot, if not Salesforce, but when they get bigger, or Intercom, which is this chat tool, which allows you to track what your user is doing in the app and the chat in-app chat. And what I want is to answer calls as they have also text conversations. Okay, and here is the look of what we do when you create a number. You create a Ottspott calls channel. One channel is one number. So meaning that if we are all in the same company here, everyone will get, for instance, the main number, but we could also have our individual number. I have my direct line, it's my channel, and nobody else sees it. And I get all my notifications of this number inside this channel. And so I get my transcriptions here. So of course, I can see this also in the mobile app of Slack. I can get my voicemail transcriptions. I can send and receive SMS, which is also interesting for support, for doing support. So this is when I manage everything inside Slack. Or I can go to my business app and manage, but I make sure that things are flowing into the right Slack channel. Okay, and signing in and adding Slack, Ottspott is very easy. You just add to Slack, and once it's added, you just have to sign in when you come back. So what's next, as I mentioned, is the extension to other platforms than Slack, vertically and horizontally. So we are going to integrate with Microsoft Teams because they asked us to do so, and they will help us a little bit promote. But we could do it with Facebook if they allow, if they publish the developer API, or with HipChat, although developers don't talk a lot on the phone. And also with additional business apps. So here the list is like huge. We have customers asking us to do specific integrations, so it's a win-win. I mean, if someone says I have a specific CRM and I want all the call flows to go inside the CRM, so each time we add a new thing. We have like some niche. For instance, in CRM space, there are a lot of CRMs. I couldn't imagine there was so many CRMs. Nimble, I don't know, Gorgeous. There are a lot of like smaller ones. So what we do is like integrate the large ones first. Okay, Pipedrive is very popular in the digital world, but also Salesforce will do. Zendesk is about to be finished. I mean, the major ones, and that's how people today consume software. They are not looking like for a phone solution or whatever. What they want is their data to talk together. That's the most important thing for them. It would be a bad sell for us to say, hey, look, we have like the new and revolutionary phone system. It's not a phone system. It's more a data exchange system where voice becomes data and can be collaborated around this data. That's the approach we have been having so far. And of course, bot, because I think we can botify much more things and automate. We are testing some features, for instance, for CRMs, like pushing the data from the CRM. Like if I have 15 calls to make today, my CRM will push and say, today you have 15 calls. And then he will monitor my activity and will send me like bad or nice messages saying, well done today, or with some emojis and so on. It's something people like. So it's making like boring things a little bit more fun. But bots give a lot of opportunities, although for the moment it still has been. For the integration bot, we thought it's something interesting. But we can do a lot of more things with the bots. So that's it. Thank you. If you have any questions?
Yeah. What is your typical customer?
Okay, so we made it simple for the beginning. Our typical customer is a company using Slack. That's the first thing, because we chose to be Slack app. In terms of size, so it's the orange world where really like in this green and orange world, it's more digital services companies, a lot of digital services companies, and pure, let's say, digital companies. We have all kinds. Like I'm thinking of one. They're called Food Chéri. They have kitchens in France, all over France, and they're a mix of Deliveroo and I don't know what cuisine. So you order something, they have like great cooks, and they cook and they bring it home to you. And okay, so the average is 10, 15 people of the Slack teams or the users. But also the interesting thing with Ottspott is that you can select the usage. You can use it, for instance, for sales. We have users who have like 15 sales guys, like doing, it's more a little bit like call center, doing outbound, but they don't want to. They work from home, or or whatever. It's a Uber for transportation of goods. So they have salespeople working at home and doing like outbound calls. But others have, for instance, a Slack team of 20 or 30 people, but they only select like 4 users for support. Okay, they do most of their support with chat, but they still need to display a phone number, and sometimes they'll get a call. So they're using Ottspott for that, but they will not put the whole company, on the phone. Just like sets of the company. Yes, Arthur.
Have you considered to use the Rocket Chat? That's the open source version of Slack. Have you seen that?
Yes, we saw that. Yeah, I mean, we consider to do a lot of, we saw it. We consider to do a lot of things, but of course we are limited by time, by resource, by money, like mostly by time for the moment. But yeah, it's part of it's a good question. It's part of the product philosophy. We started with Slack, Microsoft Teams. We would love to move to open source solutions. It's like what I call like the horizontal part. But right now we are in the next like 2-3 months more focused really in the vertical part. Then it's easier also to authenticate it. We authenticate with Slack because we give a strong integration with Slack, and we spend a lot of time. But I mean, we could authenticate with, I don't know, Google Apps or whatever, and then send notifications not in channels but by mail or whatever. I don't know, something. So that's more the logic. But we will move to that. Yes.
You go into license your service to other communication providers?
I'm by principle never close to anything. For instance, Friday we are going to meet with a French telco, but okay. The experience we've had with telcos is a very long process. So I think by the time we close the deal, we're closed. So no, I mean it's in the cloud, you know. So for us, it's very easy to scale it. We have been we have deployed servers across US, Asia, Europe, not Africa, not South America, but we really try to do on our own for the moment. But yes, of course, we would be very happy. Yeah.
This is cloud-based, right? So where are you hosted? Amazon?
No, it's not Amazon. It's another one. No, it's another one. But yeah, it's hosted. It's web on WebRTC. Okay. Thank you very much.